Here in the forest, dark and deep, I offer you eternal sleep. I'm behind you. I am right behind you. Don't be scared. I just want to play a game with you. I've been watching you. I know what you've been doing. You can't hide from me. I'm always here. Please stay. Stay with me. If you don't come play with me, then we will kill you. Knock knock. Who's there? You're a nightmare. Can you see me? Hello? Can you find me? Can you find me? I'm here. Behind you, look. Behind you.
Wrestling fans, promoters, wrestlers, and anyone who enjoys pro wrestling now have something new to be excited about. The Wrestling Fans International Association, the WFIA, is back. WFIA is an association that exists to promote, grow, and support professional wrestling throughout the world. Membership is free. Your membership includes a free digital bi-monthly publication of the Wrestling Fan News newsletter, association updates, voting privileges, and much more. Please go to thewfia.org, that's THEWFIA.org, and become a member today.
All right, everybody, this is PWZ on W.O.N Sports. We have the new BST World Heavyweight Champion. Look at that beautiful belt there, Bobby Buffet, with us. This is Rick Del Santo here. Davila is, of course, here with us as well as always. Bobby, what's going on?
Hey, I'm living a life right now. It's a pleasure to be here. It's a pleasure to be holding this. I'm ready. I'm ready to go. Let's go.
Good.
It's almost weird to see after all this time, a new champion amongst us. Normally, it'd be a guy like Lucas Chase holding that 15 pounds of gold, but not now, not today. Your new reigning, defending BST heavyweight champion of the world, Bobby Motherflower Buffet. Hey, Bobby, how are you today?
That intro was amazing. First of all, I just want to say, if I could be announced like that every single time I went to the ring,
Hey,
icing on a cake.
you got to talk to a few people. I may know a guy that may would help you out there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but there's a key word I like that you said in there. You said world champion. Your boy is ready to defend this title anywhere and everywhere.
Rick, you hear this? Any and everywhere.
That is a champion. That's a true champion right there. That's willing to do that.
What was it? The night after you won the title, you were out there flaunting that in Mark Henry's face, Kevin Nash face, Farouk face, Robbie and Dan face. I'm the champion. That was Bobby the night after you won it.
Well, let's talk about this. The same night I won it. Right?
Yeah.
As soon as I left Hamden, Connecticut, first thing I did, I went to Burger King, right? Burger King, and in that ticket where they say put your name, I put BST champion. You know what I'm saying? So everybody understands that I'm on top of the world now. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna let anyone forget it. This is a huge milestone right here.
Top of the world.
Nice.
Like you said, the next day, I'm sorry to cut you off. The next day, Super Crazy was eyeing me down. I'm not gonna lie. He seemed like he wanted parts, and I was ready to give it to him.
That would be something I'd love to see. Harry, maybe
that title can be defended any and everywhere.
Yeah.
So tell them,
Should make that
step up.
happen.
I'm ready.
Let's get into a little bit of your career before we start talking about BST and your title victory. You
Yes.
trained, obviously, at one of the most prestigious and historic wrestling schools in the entire world, um, formerly run by the pretty boy Larry Sharp, the Monster Factory, now run by Danny Cage. Tell me how this whole thing came about.
Yeah, I mean, I've been interested in wrestling since I was a kid, and it's always been like the thing I wanted to do. You know how, like, what you have planned and how it happens is always different. Like I assumed that I was gonna, go to high school, go to college, and save up money and then start wrestling school afterwards. But I ended up starting when I was 19, like straight out of high school. I was playing semi-pro football for like a year, and
Wow.
then it just didn't really stick. I was always good at football, but like I didn't really care about it that much, Like I always wanted wrestling, and it just wasn't fulfilling for me. So like literally one day I'm chilling, I'm on Twitter and I'm an Eagles fan because I'm from this area, and obviously Dan is too. So I'm talking to like an Eagles player on Twitter, and then I saw like Danny Cage respond to it, and I'm like, damn, I was like, yo, you the owner of Monster Factory. Like I need to get there one day. I'm gonna be there. He's like, what's stopping you? Like, why don't you come today? I'm like, damn, I really don't have a reason why I can't come today. So like
Got
I
called out.
he called me out on Twitter, so I had to answer it. You know what I'm saying? So I go instantly from that moment changed my life. Like, you know what I mean? As soon as I walked in the building, I'm like, this is exactly where I'm supposed to be. It's like one of those moments where you find your purpose. You know what I'm saying?
That
Yeah,
school is known
absolutely.
for training some of the most famous wrestlers in the history of professional wrestling, from Pretty Boy Larry Sharp to Danny Cage. Like even today, like some of the most famous wrestlers that are on TV currently.
Yeah, like absolutely. Like I remember when I first started there, like Damian Priest, who you guys know him as now,
Yeah.
like he was coaching me from the beginning, like my first year. Being privileged to be under learning trees like that, you know what I'm saying? Like my first year, I got to learn from Gerald Briscoe. It's
Wow.
crazy. Like, I got to train with Ricky Reyes for the first 3 years of my career. That's
Ooh.
career. Like that's something that like a good percentage of people who aren't like in the developmental territories like OVW or you know what I'm saying like the performance center, like nobody else could really say like famous names like that on a consistent basis. Like this is like an
Mhm.
every week thing, you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
I'm training under these people. It was
Right.
amazing.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, go
Go
ahead,
ahead.
go
I'm
ahead.
sorry. I was gonna say the Monster Factory just has that big ass repertoire. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Like Matt Riddle, you got Godfather, you got D'Lo, you got you know what I'm saying, Big Show, you got Sheamus, you got all like I could go literally for days, keep going.
Every person that you've named in that quick little 5, 6 person list has held a WWE championship of one sort or another. And think about that. There's a lot of schools out there. Storm Wrestling Academy, Team 3D, Dojo, the Chikara Dojo, or what it is now,
Wrestle Factory, I
under
think.
Drew
Right.
Galaxy, the Wrestle Factory, exactly. Uh, all these like schools and dojos. I don't know if there's anyone like the Monster Factory that have the lineage as far as the students goes with the championships of today.
Absolutely. Like
Uh, go ahead.
I'm sorry to keep cutting you
No,
off.
no,
Go
no,
ahead.
you're good. You're good.
I was gonna say the best part about that is that like Danny is not like a coach that like, had to have that rub from the business to get people in the door. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yep.
he's all organic. He's never made it. He's never been signed. You know what I'm saying? Like he was a wrestler. He was trying to be like what we are now. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And the fact that someone like him is able to push like all of us past like, like our wildest dreams is like insane, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Look at this name of the list of names going, and I'm going back through some of the original Monster Factory guys. Balls Mahoney, Bam Bam Bigelow was trained there. Yeah, who else here? I'm sorry, Chris Candido came out of there. Sanjay Dutt, like Steve Macklin. The list is just insane. It's just insane. But go ahead, Harry.
Pioneer Sanjay Dutt, pioneer the X division.
Absolutely.
Steve Macklin, former Impact World Champion. Who were the other? Bam Bam Bigelow. No, his credentials speak for themselves. Balls Mahoney, again, credentials speak for themselves. Who was the other one?
It was Rocco Rock from Public Enemy was trained there. The Pit Bulls,
Ted,
Godfather, Headbangers, King Kong Bundy came out of there.
you name it,
Yeah.
just absolute legends of this industry coming out of the school, and you are beginning to, if anything, etch your name on the wall with guys like that. Even before walking into BST, Monster Factory, longest reigning heavyweight champion.
Yes, absolutely. And the best thing about like all piecing all that together and into one story, like, you know, knowing the lineage of the Monster Factory, what it stands for, you know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? It just kind of validates me in a sense where, the Monster Factory Championship was my first title ever. You know what I mean? And, for him to see in me that much, or for him to have that much faith in me to carry this brand for that long, break the record on top of names who've held it. Like a lot of those names,
Yeah,
necessarily the ones in WWE haven't had it, but like Steve Macklin had it, Matt Riddle
yeah,
had it, you know
yep.
what I'm saying? Damian Priest had it, Abyss had it, you know what I'm saying? And
Who's who?
it's the who's who title, you know what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
for the fact that I was able to break all those records on my first time, like, my first ever title, I learned, developed so much, but like, you know what I'm saying? It was just an honor. It's
Yeah.
an honor.
Tell me about the
Um.
did you were obviously a part of the Apple Plus TV series, the docu series that took part
Yes.
in that. What was it like being a part of that series?
It was amazing. It's some of the funnest times of my life, you know what I'm saying? But it was also a whole lot of pressure because that docu-series literally, it was highlighting almost my whole reign as a champion. So
Right.
like I was just saying, it was a whole lot of growth development
Hmm.
like during that stage, but also it was an immense sort of pressure because I can't mess up. Like I'm on camera and this is going to be something that's broadcast to millions of people worldwide. You know what I'm
Feel
saying? So
Do you feel like that helped get you like more exposure as like a professional wrestler and a performer, the performer Bobby Buffet?
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But the best part about that is that the Bobby Buffet that you see on the docu-series is not nowhere close to where the Bobby Buffet you see today is. You know what I'm saying? I made it like a big point of mine that, like when the docu-series came out, I want people to look at me and see how much of a difference there's been. You know what I mean? So I never like let off the gas pedal just because I knew I had this big thing, like a show going on. You know what I mean? That like we wrapped that up in August 2022.
Mhm.
And the things I've got to do from August 22 to where we're at now, September 2023, like,
Whoa.
you know what I'm saying? It's amazing.
Right. Right.
Whoa. August 2022. So that would have been right around the time of your debut for BST.
Absolutely. I
Huh.
debuted literally the day after my birthday at Mega Clash.
Yeah. And the
We had
six
to,
way.
yeah. And Mega Clash a year later. Look at us.
Wow.
Look at
That's
us.
crazy. The growth, and I'm not even trying to be funny. I honestly didn't even kind of like put those things together, but a lot of things happened in that initial Mega Clash that kind of full circled itself into this year's Mega Clash, and all on accident.
In what sense?
Uh, so uh, Lucas Chase, he won the title in the ladder match.
Hmm.
I believe, if not at that, no, who did he have at Mega
Yeah, it was
Clash?
that Mega
Yeah,
Clash.
it
That
was.
that was a
Okay, so
great
yeah,
match.
perfect. So yeah, he wins the ladder match, and then subsequently, 1 year later at this Mega Clash, now the person who debuted at last year's Mega Clash, the person who dethroned the champion. It's just like that triangle, aka
Yeah,
full circle moment, like just all these things happening together. And it, like thinking about it now, that's a cool little stat right there.
absolutely. I always keep those type of moments like, kind of etched in the beginning because it kind of gives me insight for the future and everything I do that like, everything has its purpose. You know what I'm saying? 2 years ago, almost to the day, it wasn't like exactly, but 2 years to almost to the day that I won this title. Was the first time I ever came to a BST event. And I just, it was one of those things where I just hopped in my car and came down. It was the Yacht Club show, the memorial for Big Jim.
Oh, okay.
And I didn't know most of you guys from like a can of paint. I knew the Haven because they came to the factory and we worked them. And then I went to PAPW and got to work them, you know what I'm saying? Kind of like a, you came to my house, I'll come to your house type thing. But then, you know what I'm saying? I came to that show and, it was amazing from there.
I believe those PAPW shows that you're talking about were like the first time that I ever saw you in person.
Hmm.
And I believe you were the Monster Factory champion, so they were announcing you as such. I'm trying to remember who you were kind of like beefing with. I want to say it was the Battle Academy.
Yeah.
I
Hmm.
think at one
Yeah,
point, did you meet Jay Haru? If I remember correctly, you defended the title against Jay Haru on an alley fights or some
It was
event. One,
yeah, it was the power play in
yes,
June.
yep, yeah, okay, yeah, because I just watched that video yesterday.
Yeah.
I filmed it. It's on this channel here. Um, yeah. So I mean, if there's one thing, it's like Bobby Fay puts in the work. Like I would see you at PAPW events, and then if I just went to a show like the next day as a fan, you'd also be there, like say Northeast Wrestling, helping out as well. So that's
hmm
another thing that shows your dedication to the sport and the business of professional wrestling and what the sport means to you and what you want to do in this sport.
paying your
Uh,
dues.
Yes,
Absolutely. I mean,
exactly.
one of the biggest things I've learned in life, and this is before even wrestling, is that, someone gave me this advice when I was working at Dairy Queen, literally a day before I got promoted to manager. And this is why I keep those type of things in my head. He saw me cleaning the floor and he's like, oh, he's like, okay. He's like, you know what? I'm gonna give you a piece of advice. I'm 47. I own a business. He's like, never be above the lowest job in your company. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, that's
Okay.
some real gems he's dropping there. Like, you know what I'm saying? It doesn't sound like too much, but it means a whole lot. You know what I'm saying? Because it increases your value tenfold. So like I've always kept that in the back of my head. Literally the next day I got promoted to a manager. You know what I'm
Wow.
saying? So it's kind of like one of those full circle things. And I keep
hmm
it in wrestling. I keep it in my head for wrestling too. I'm always down to, help with breakdown, setup, whatever you need. You know what I'm saying? If I gotta be there, that's gonna be like, part of my paying it forward, you know what I'm saying? And Northeast Wrestling is somewhere that I'd really like to work. So just showing them that type of initiative is like, what I'm saying, key to getting there.
Uh, yeah, and speaking of places where you'd like and some places that you actually currently are, even sporadically, with this last year of growth that you've had, first as Monster Factory champion, now as the new BST champion, you've kind of been a little over the place. Uh you got Venom Pro coming up soon. You're back in Connecticut in November. You're you've been to Wrestling Open as of late. You've done a couple shows up there. Um, what's the next goal for you? Like out besides Northeast that you just spoke about, like
Mhm.
if you're, okay, I've done this. Okay, so now let's try this, and this. What are the next three goals that you have in mind as far as Bobby Buffet and the what is it, the All Eat World Tour or something like that?
Oh, Hungry World
In
Tour,
the
yes,
Hungry
sir.
Wo- So tell me what's next in the Hungry World Tour.
Definitely. I mean, like this year has been ridiculous. Like I've made over 10 debuts this year for different
Crazy.
wrestling companies. And I got to go international for the first time. I got to go to Canada twice, you know what I'm saying? And it's been amazing. I wanna go, to the UK and wrestle. I've been
Woo.
in talks with a couple of people in the UK, just about making everything worth it,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I'm saying? And I definitely like to get into, a couple of those promotions, like the bigger ones like Deadlock, like Limitless, all those places. And I'd also like to see myself on TV because that's the goal anyway, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Absolutely. If I can get an opportunity to, in front of the right person to show what I can do, I think it's like literally like smooth sailing from there.
I think you got the perfect build, move set, kind of like look for that. I believe you on TV would be instant money.
I, I
Instant money.
I believe so. I hope so. You know what I'm saying? This is something I've sacrificed a whole lot of time, a lot of family things for it, and everybody knows how that goes. Like it's not like I'm not the only person, but I just believe that there's a higher purpose for me. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I can do a lot in this business and bring a lot to this business that a lot of people have never seen before.
Okay. That being said, let's let's talk a little more on the personal side of things. Let's kind of walk a little bit away from the wrestling side and let's talk about Bobby Buffet the person. You spoke about Dairy Queen and getting promoted, jobs like that. Uh, what is a day in the life for Bobby Buffet? What take wrestling out? It's
Hmm.
just a normal day in Bobby Buffet's life. What are we looking at here? What are you doing? Are you working anywhere? Like what's going on in Bobby Buffet's life?
Yeah, I mean, my life is literally not I want to say there's never a dull moment.
Okay.
That's like the best way to put it. It's hard to say without wrestling because wrestling is literally my life, and I train 4 days a week at the school. And then
Okay.
like when I'm not at the school, then it's always something else that has to do with wrestling. Um,
Gotcha.
but like if I was to cut wrestling completely out of the occasion, yeah, I do work. I work full time at McDonald's, which it's one of those things that just pays the bills.
Hey.
Um, Being around food, it kind of helps. It kind of helps me with being social because I have to interact with
Mm-hmm.
so many people a day.
Yeah.
Um, I like to chill. I like to spend time at home. I'm a big gamer, if you can't tell. You know what I'm saying? But
Behind you.
you
Yeah,
know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah,
You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? I'm a
I
big
got
gamer.
you.
I like collecting figures. I'm big into anime. Um, I'm big into music. I make my own music. I made my theme song. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
Cool. Oh
yep.
wow, cool. That's cool. Yeah.
And just a lot of stuff like that. I'm chill. I like to spend the time that I do have with the people I love and the family, like friends, family, and stuff.
So just from the conversation we're having, you're a very vibey person. You like to enjoy a
Absolutely.
good vibe. And I appreciate that. Rick, you're laughing over there. I see
No,
you
I get
snickering
no.
in the corner.
It was it was the
That's
way you
not
put
where
it, but
I
I
was
get
aiming it at, but
no. I it was the way you put it, but I get what you're saying, man. It's
um
chill.
very, very
Picking up what I'm putting
similar,
down.
Yeah.
very similar lifestyles and very like to enjoy the vibe type atmosphere. Um
Hmm.
you said you spoke on 10 debuts over this last year, one obviously with us, one with CPW as well. What other places have you debuted in that you can talk about?
Yeah, absolutely. So I debuted at Venom
Yep.
Championship Wrestling, where we'll be again. I got to do Courage Pro Wrestling in Canada. You know, Wrestling Open was one of them. Uh, there's so many. Hold on, I gotta go to my thingy because I keep track of all the wrestling places. I think.
Good. Good. I'm
Yeah,
glad you do.
I
It's
started
always
to
good
make
to
a
look back on those.
I started to make a list once I realized that it was crazy. You hear all these people who they'll make up their match numbers and they're
Yeah.
like, hey, I had this many matches. I've had like 200,
Mm-hmm.
300. I've had this many this year. And I realized I didn't have that many matches. Like I've been wrestling for 4 years and I've only had 118 matches. Literally just had my 118th match last Saturday.
Oh,
um
Huh.
is that counting the pandemic? Because that was like a 3-year break, basically.
I mean, my school was still open during the pandemic, but we weren't running
Right.
shows. We started running shows again in 2021, literally the
Mhm.
beginning.
Okay.
And and it was kind of just like I like when I started, it was a weird time where I was still very, very green right before the pandemic started. Like I debuted
Right.
right
Yeah.
before the pandemic. So like, I had to take that long break with everyone else. And it wasn't until 2021 where I really started getting in the steam of wrestling, like, the full year and stuff.
Right. Right.
I
Uh,
got to Oh, sorry, go ahead. I
no, go ahead. Go ahead.
was gonna say I got to do Fight Life in Rhode Island. That
Oh,
was
there
really,
you
really
go.
fun. I got to do Victory Pro Wrestling in New York, you know. I got to do where's all these places?
See him. He's such a busy man. He's been all over the place. He can't
So
even
many,
realize what places he's
I know.
debuting for.
Well,
so many.
one of my questions is so you said you made your Canadian debut, and
Yeah.
Canada
Hey,
is like the history in Canada is just tremendous history wise, professional wrestling wise. It's like, what was it like for you to go and wrestle in Canada? And I
It
mean, what was
was.
your first experience there? I mean, you said you wrestled there twice, correct? Is that what you said?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
What was it like going up
Um,
there?
it was really, really cool. Like one of the best experiences I've ever had wrestling. Like honestly, wrestling was probably not even probably. It was definitely the first time as like, as a person I got to venture out of my like hometown. Because before I started wrestling, I've never left like my vicinity. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right.
I had no idea what the outside world was like, past like what I was used to. Um, Canada was super, super fun. It's beautiful out there. The people
Mhm.
are nice. You know what I'm saying? It was totally, I didn't know what I expected going into it, but it just like exceeded my expectations like tenfold. Um, like I said, the people were nice. The food was really, really good. It was slamming. Yeah, I can't even explain. Like I paid $50 for a burger. That junk was good, and I got some poutine too. That was amazing.
$50 for a burger?
I had to. It was like when I tell you, Rick, it was the best burger I've ever eaten in my life. Like it justified that $50. I
You're gonna
I
have
will
to. We're gonna have to go. I'm gonna have to go
I
there
will
for
do it
this one.
again.
All right.
I'll do it again.
It's just crazy, but okay. I know the
$50
Canadian
for a burger.
the dollar difference is the exchange rate. I don't know but that's crazy. But okay. If
I
it
mean,
was that good,
listen,
wow. Yeah.
far be it from me to tell the man who's has something called the Hungry World Tour when he tells me the burger is worth the $50. I might have
Oh
to
yeah.
take the trip and find out for myself.
Trust the
You got a
gut,
point.
but yeah, we could
You
definitely
know what
take
I'm
that trip
saying?
together. Absolutely. It
You
was
got a point.
so, so good. It was a place called Hamburger, actually, too. It was like very exquisite. It was
He,
way better than
he
what you
got a
think.
burger at a place called Hamburger.
That was
Makes
what it was
sense,
called.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. You know what I mean? That's all the gimmick here. Uh So okay, so you again longest reigning Monster Factory champion, new BSD champion. You've wrestled for so many companies over the last year. New companies is that you've also wrestled a slew of new people.
Hmm.
Amongst those new people, and let's exclude Monster Factory because those are, I'm assuming, people you see on a regular basis. Out of the guys that you've wrestled in this last year, who was your toughest opponent?
Mm, that's a good question. I say it's always fun when I feel like I have to prepare. Like I prepare for all my matches. Like before I go into, I will study the heck out of people, everything they do to see like what we can do that will mesh very well together. But I feel like a couple times where like I was in super preparation mode, definitely for Andy Brown. That was like
Mm-hmm.
one of the funnest matches I've ever had. Also, by the way, he's awesome to work with. I would wrestle him a million times. Um, I got to wrestle Trey Lamar in Canada. That was a really good one. He was
Okay.
awesome. Um, I got to wrestle Max Caster, and even though it was short, it was pretty short. Like that was really really fun.
That was at Open, correct?
Yeah, that was at Open. Him, Desmond Cole, Leo
Yes.
Sparrow, all those matches were really really cool to have. There's so many more off the top of my head. Those are like some of the ones like that stick out really really heavily. Like you know it's on the tip of my tongue. On the tip of my tongue. Oh yeah, Lucas Chase, dude,
Yeah.
that guy's a cannon. Like
He's all right.
I as much as I don't like the guy, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
He's a really tough competitor, bro.
It,
I'm
it,
not gonna hold.
let me not take anything away. Let me separate a little bit. That guy is an unbelievable wrestler and was a damn good champion, both reigns. Uh, but yeah, you got to wrestle some TV talent.
Hmm.
You were going back to Max Caster here. Like you said, it was short, but it comes with something at the end of the day. You get some new knowledge, some new little trick to the trade, maybe a little talk with Max Caster about how you can do things a little different, such and such, so and forth. Did you have that type of conversation? Or was it just a quick, let's just go out there and do the match, kid? How was that experience as a whole?
It was really cool. I actually like. I wish I would have got this a chance to talk to him more, but I actually seen him not too long ago at the Victory Pro Wrestling show,
Mm-hmm.
like a month ago. So we caught up and we talked about stuff, and he got to watch my match there, and we talked about it. So like the good thing about it, it wasn't like a one and done type of opportunity.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We built that connection where I feel like I could reach out to him. Yeah, I figure I do that with anyone who has more experience than me, even people with less experience. Because if they, it's easy for other people to see things you don't. And although like I'm always open to getting better, like anybody could provide a piece of the puzzle that I'm missing. I'll take criticism from anyone.
One of the matches I want to ask you about now, of course, company I'm very familiar with, Coliseum Pro Wrestling. You had the chance to meet Prince Ahmed. Uh, I don't. That wasn't your first appearance there, I don't believe, but believe it was definitely his first appearance there, and you guys put on a hell of a match, if I do say so myself. And
Thank you.
that was I had the honor of doing play by play for that match, so it was a little something a little special for me as well. What was it like working with somebody like Prince Ahmed?
Very interesting, to say the least. He's a cool guy.
Yeah.
Shoot, I'll keep his shoe for this. He's a really, really cool guy. Super nice. You know what I'm saying? And it was really cool to get some work with him because that was the first time I met him,
Hmm.
literally like an hour before we went on. And we're calling this while we're getting dressed in the parking lot. That's what I love about the wrestling grind. We're literally getting dressed in the parking lot, calling this together. And we didn't know each other from a can of paint. There's nothing we could really go over, what I'm saying, beforehand to make sure, like our chemistry is right. Because there's people who will like say, I know how to do this, but in reality they may not. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like there's always that, like that's why I love getting to places early so that if I can find like my opponent, maybe we can go over stuff in the ring so I can make sure I time it down to a T. Because if there's one thing I like, I'm not a spot monkey, but like I like to make sure that it doesn't come off weird. You know what I'm saying? I like to give fans the
Yeah.
best product they came for, they paid for. Um, but he was amazing. He was amazing. Very underrated, I would say.
Mm.
I know he's got to do a lot, and he's been a lot of places the past year, but very underrated. He's very, very talented. It was fun working with him.
I think he also just recently, if I remember correctly, went up to Wrestling Open. Did he not?
Yeah, yeah, he's been there a couple times.
Yeah.
He's been there a couple times.
Right.
That was actually where mm, that was where I seen him. I met him for 2 seconds. You know what I'm saying? Like it was one of
Right.
those, hey, he was there. I had a match. I don't think he did that night. But then like the next time I seen him, that was when we had our match. So it was like first time I actually got to like get a taste of what he was doing. You know what I'm saying? So in the
Right.
ring.
Who would you say? Now, of course, you said you were always a big wrestling fan, but who would you say would be what influenced you as what wrestlers influenced you as a child? Everybody's got
Good
influences.
question.
So I don't think we even touched that. Like what did you watch as a kid? Did you want to grow up watching WWF, WCW, whatever, local indie stuff? And who in particular did you grasp onto as a fan?
This will change drastically like over the years. It
Mhm.
was always like, different fads. Like when I grew up, like I started watching wrestling during the Ruthless Aggression era.
Mhm.
That's where I came from, and it was like,
What's
you know,
aggression?
yeah, my favorite wrestlers were John Cena, DX, like the whole nine. Those were literally like those were those will always be my favorite wrestlers. Shawn Michaels, Triple H, and John
Yes.
Cena. They were amazing during that era. They just kind of paved the way. And as I was getting older, I started to model, you know, people that kind of look like me more. You know what I'm saying? People like Keith Lee is a big inspiration to me now. You know what I'm saying? Walter is amazing. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? But John Cena, Shawn Michaels, Triple H, they ingrained the an aspect that I feel like is lost nowadays. It's like storytelling without being hokey.
Oh
You
yeah.
know what I'm saying? I like to make people feel things because that's why I got into wrestling because they
Right.
made me feel something. You know what I'm saying? I want to make the crowd feel something every time I wrestle. It inspired me.
I like that sitting at the edge of your seat kind of drama when you're watching
Mhm.
Yeah.
wrestling in the ring. And a lot of that seems to be lost in the modern era.
Yeah, yeah. Like I was saying, I feel like a lot of people forget like why they liked wrestling. I feel like if I can keep that, I'm saying, if I can keep that in the forefront of my memory, then I'll be okay. You know what I'm saying? But everything you do, you should be looking to pay it forward. So you can't remember why you get into something. You know what I'm saying? That's why everything has a why. And you guys already know I'm preaching to the choir, but
Yeah.
that's my reasoning behind why I don't like I can be a spot monkey for 100 years. I know a million moves, you know what I'm saying, but it's not always necessary to do those
Yeah.
when I can make something simple be effective with the storytelling behind it, you know?
Right.
Sometimes less is more.
Absolutely.
That's how
Um,
I always look at professional wrestling. Uh, when I describe it, less is more because you don't need to do 5,000 super kicks or 5,000 flips in order to get the crowd to pop. It's with the drama that the fans necessarily get into.
Right.
so I'm gonna okay, it's a hot take here. A lot of people are
Are
not
we
gonna
going to
like
argue?
this.
We're going to argue.
No, we're not gonna argue. We're gonna agree to disagree. Because I get what you both are saying with the whole like less is more, take your time, tell the story. Yes, I believe that's all based on the crowd. Feel the crowd. Because the crowd, and this goes for multiple different promotions. This isn't just like me speaking based off like BST or even like CPW or NEW or anything around here. This is just based off me being in the crowd and seeing the action. More or less the fan of me. It depends on where you're at. So, for example, uh, I'll use Beyond Wrestling.
Hmm.
Beyond Wrestling is probably some of the best wrestling on the planet, period.
I'd
No
agree.
one's going to take that away. But they know their crowd. They know what the crowd wants. There's nights where the crowd literally just wants car crashes and front flips. That's just the crowd. You can do the less is more, but that crowd is not going to be engaged.
Right.
While on the other side of the spectrum, there are those nights where you're there for that pure wrestling, that less is more mentality, the grittiness, the ruggedness of a pure wrestling match. So I believe that it's all about what your location is and filling out your crowd. No, like try a couple things, one, two. Okay. If that little thing caught the crowd, then maybe we're good with a pure wrestling match. the less stuff, arm wringers and headlocks. But if I'm doing that stuff and the crowd is literally this,
Mm-hmm.
then maybe ramp it up a little bit and see how they react to that. And then obviously you go from there. I believe that's the difference between wrestling now and the wrestling back in the day, even as far as maybe early 90s. And no, this is not trying to be funny, Rick. I can see you snickering in the corner. I'm
I'm
not
older
trying
than
to be
both
funny.
you guys, so
I get that,
I also have
but
a
you for
different flavor in what
yeah,
I like,
absolutely. But Rick, better than anyone. We've talked at nauseum.
Right.
I'm a fan of the old school. I
Yeah.
grew up watching the late 80s, early 90s, Ric Flair's, Arn Anderson's, Macho Man Randy Savage's, Hulk Hogan's. I grew up on those wrestlers. So there are nights where, yeah, less is more for me. I enjoy a pure wrestling style. And there's nights where I want somebody to get smashed with a light tube. That's just the type,
I
it's
wouldn't go
all,
that far, but I will sit there and I'll watch like
but it's a
a whole night of
preference.
pro wrestling gorilla as opposed to watching. I don't put on deathmatch type stuff, but as
Yes.
opposed to watching Flair and Steamboat, I'll sit there and go put on like pro wrestling gorilla if I'm
Yeah.
in that kind of a mood. You know what I mean?
Give me Super Dragon versus Samoa Joe and have them beat the snot out of each other for 25 minutes. And then the
Right.
next night, give me Benoit and Angle in a
Yeah.
submission match.
Yeah.
It's all about the like what you're just in the mood to see. And to Rick's point, yes, Rick, you may not go that far, but there
Mhm.
are plenty of people who do.
Yeah, I think that's like the importance of knowing so many styles, being able to
Yes.
incorporate that stuff because you're absolutely right. The crowd really it depends. It depends on the crowd. And I think to that there's one thing that will translate, I feel like, with every crowd is just telling a story. So you can tell a story doing a lot, you can tell a story doing a little, and I'm not gonna lie, I like doing a lot. Like I like to show
Mm-hmm.
people, what I'm saying that as a big dude, I can do moonsaults, I can enziguri people, I can drop kick people, I can, what I'm saying, I can jump over the rope, like what I'm saying, I
Yeah.
can do all this. But like what I'm saying, if I don't need to do it a million times, then I
Then you
won't.
don't.
But
Yeah.
if I need to, then I will.
And
You know
it's
what I
all
mean?
it's all about filling that crowd. And you talked about you know doing the front flips and stuff like that, calling a spade here. If I'm a brand new person sitting in a crowd and you're coming out to the ring, the last thing I'm expecting, and this is just by the nature of how the world is for you to bust out a cartwheel in the middle of a front roll and then bust out with a tope out of nowhere. That to me is like the coolest part about how much wrestling has evolved
Hmm.
since the 90s. Because yeah, you had guys like, Bam Bam Bigelow, big guys who were doing moonsaults and enziguris way back in the early 90s, but they weren't doing it every single night.
Right.
But now those types of studies, those types of knowledge is now being bestowed on the newer guys like yourself. And for those who don't know, are going to see you, and when you do it, they're going to go, oh shoot, this guy can go.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So you have that working with you as well, and that's for that's like an instant pop, right? When you catch someone off guard based off the appearance.
Oh, that's like my favorite thing.
What was the
It's my
date that you won the belt? That you won that BST belt?
September 15th.
Well, I just came across a video that I'm looking through files here. September 16th, 2022, you also wrestled Lucas Chase at an Empire Pro Wrestling event,
Hmm.
Ooh, there's that
which I
full
filmed.
circle.
Full circle.
Tell me that's awfully coincidental. That was one day, 1 year and 1 day.
Yeah. And he was telling me afterwards, she what I'm saying that I was the first opponent, so it just made sense to have people last. What I'm saying? I love full circle moments like that. You
Adds
know,
more to the story.
yeah, absolutely. But to also add to what you were saying, Harry, I have the Monster Factory to thank for me being able to do all those crazy moves because just like you said, Bam Bam Bigelow used to do the cartwheels and the moonsaults. Like, when I first started training, what I'm saying, Danny didn't care that I was 300 pounds. We do drills that, like, what I'm saying, we do drills that you'd expect. There's people who will be like, oh, okay, I'll skip. What I'm saying? Because like you got to do a sunset flip, and it's like, if you're 300 pounds, nobody's gonna expect you to do that. He's like, I don't care, you do it. Like, why can't you? Why wouldn't you try? You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And it's funny. Like sometimes I'll go to camps. I remember we went to a Tom Pritchard camp. It was like a
Ooh,
super camp. Great person to learn from.
Dr.
We were doing
Tom.
Dr. Tom is amazing. One of the best teachers I've ever gotten the privilege to learn under. And we were doing a 5x5 drill. Do you guys know what that is?
No.
It's You have to do 5 Irish whips. The person will reverse. Then you got to do 5 drop down leapfrogs, and then you do 5 up and overs, right?
Okay.
And everybody reverses it. We had to do it twice. And it's my turn to go. He's like, "Hey, big fella, you want to throw a clothesline instead of doing a drop down leapfrog?" I was like, "Are you kidding me? Like, no, I'm gonna do the leapfrogs." Like he didn't know, right? And I did like 10 in a row. He's still like so perplexed. He's like, "Dang, you big like that, moving like that." And I'm like, "Yeah."
Dr. Tom Pritchard, is not some slouch in the ring either.
That guy's a
That's a
legend,
per.
absolute legend. Yeah.
There you go. There's that word. Uh, Impressing a guy like that could go a long way for you.
Mm-hmm.
So good on you for that. Um, okay, you brought up Lucas Chase. You brought up the year. Let's talk about your future a little bit.
Hmm.
I know there's guys. I know there's a list somewhere on your phone, somewhere in the ethos. There is a list of guys you want to wrestle. Don't matter where. It can be Japan, Mexico, Canada, Ethiopia, Venezuela, Chicago. Doesn't matter. You got 3 people top of your head. Who do you want to wrestle if you had an unlimited budget?
Unlimited budget.
Don't matter.
Woo! Okay. Number one will be Roman Reigns. Absolutely.
Ooh. Okay.
And the reasoning behind that is just simple. Like I've gotten the privilege to be world champion twice. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And I I figure, like I got into wrestling to be the best. Why not go for the best of the best? You know what I'm saying? Just to the head of the table versus the head of the buffet table, bound to be a crazy clash right there. I'm just saying. Um, Definitely Roman Reigns if I had an unlimited budget. I would go Will Ospreay, one of my favorite wrestlers in the world. Obviously, we could have a freaking banger. No
That
doubt
dude's
about it.
on an absolute legend tier tear right now.
He's on God
And
mode right now.
yeah, he's about to do something that I don't see a lot of other people being able to do. And if he pulls it off this year, I think he goes down as the best wrestler of the modern era.
In my opinion, he is. In
Wow.
my
Yeah.
opinion, he is.
Yeah.
And number 3, I really, really want to wrestle Moose.
Ooh,
That dude's incredible. Be
He's
honest.
that
amazing.
was a sleeper right there.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
didn't expect to hear that, but yeah,
Yeah. I
I
wasn't expect it went Roman, Osprey, Moose. And it was like, and I'm for all of it.
I wasn't convinced on Moose initially, but then after a while, I just started really paying attention, and there was that moment that clicked, and I was like, "Holy shit, this dude! I've been sleeping on this guy." And now, I think he's like one of the most underrated wrestlers in the business today.
I was at Impact right before he dropped the title to Josh Alexander,
Mhm.
Ooh,
and I've
another great
gotten
wrestler.
Yeah, yeah.
and I've gotten to work like within the Impact system 3 times now, um, or gotten the privilege to be there at least, and every single time, what I'm saying, Moose kind of defies like he's just like another one of me. He defies what you'd expect, and not because like you know what I'm saying, not because you know what I'm saying he's a big guy that can do crazy things. This man is literally like a next level, like one of those once in a generation type
Mhm.
Yeah,
athletes. It's just the honest truth. He's amazing. He's a freak of nature.
it's crazy. He's been an impact. He's been an impact for a while. He started his big push towards indie stardom was with Ring of Honor, and like I thought honestly as a fan seeing him for the first time, I was like, he's all right, whatever. And then over time, he just won me over with the little things he was doing to progress his character. And I think these last few years, he's kind of just been knocking it out of the park. Uh,
Mhm.
and Moose is a big dude, big, tall, somewhat lanky dude. For him to go as hard as he does, man, and he going if you really go back to like his beginning and his like the way his body was, and you compare it to Bobby knows what I'm talking about.
It's
And
crazy different.
yo,
He came with that football body.
night and day,
Yeah.
night and day as far as the wrestler goes.
He's a lean machine now.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
he be doing moonsault fall away slams. It's crazy. That's insane. Like I don't like as someone who does moonsaults, imagining doing
hmm
a moonsault fall away slam is ridiculous. Like
Um. All right. So now you've given me the unlimited budget. Let's do realistic in the next month.
hmm,
Okay.
okay.
Three guys who let's say you got a BST show, CPW show, and a wrestling open coming up, right?
Okay.
You don't know your opponents. You're picking them. Who are you picking?
Okay. Um for BST I'll probably say Ichiban.
Ooh.
I'd love to see
Um
it.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
literally the smoothest wrestler I've ever been in the ring with.
Yeah.
But we didn't get to run a one on one. I would love to wrestle in one on one. I think we'd have a crazy banger. Um, um, CPW, that's a tough one. I guess I gotta go for Hunter Tarka because he's a champ. I won it. You know what
Okay,
I'm saying?
so let me revise this a little bit. You don't necessarily have to s- can't say the word.
Specifically.
Exactly. You don't have to be specific to a company.
Oh, okay.
I was just using those as like, those are places you've been to lately. Who
Hmm.
would you like? Let's say if you were to encounter somebody, who would you want to encounter in these shows? Like, so BST,
Okay.
it could be Ichiban, whatever. Like, say CPW. If you want it to be Hunter Tarka, yeah, Hunter Tarka is amazing. We could talk about Hunter for a while. But I
100%.
don't want you to narrow it based on the company. I want you to narrow on the realism of being able to wrestle these guys.
Okay. Okay. So I think the biggest challenges of like the biggest challengers it would seem to me, people that will force me to elevate. Ichiban, I definitely keep him there. I go Alec Price. I don't know if you guys know
Oh,
him, the Prize
Of
City
course.
OG.
Oh God, yeah.
That's
That
my
dude.
big
Yeah.
brother, man. And I that's my big brother. We developed a really nice working relationship. He's always open to giving me advice. I'd really like to wrestle him. Can I get four? Because I really have
you
like
can
someone
get as many as you want.
I can't
Go
like
for it.
differentiate between the last two. So two people I really, really, really want to wrestle one on one. Desmond Cole. He's
Okay.
amazing. I got to be in the ring with him a couple times, but never one on one. And Big Bacon, Brad Hollister.
Nice.
He's
Oh,
Nice choice. Yeah.
super talented, super underrated. I was supposed to wrestle him, but stuff happened, personal stuff. You know what I'm saying?
hungry.
Bobby Buffet, Big Bacon, it just writes itself. You know what I'm saying?
Yo,
I mean,
that's what I'm saying. It's such an easily marketable match.
easily, and he's awesome. I can't
The
lie.
all
I'd love
hungry
to wrestle.
Bobby Buffet wants all the bacon.
Absolutely,
That's the tagline
absolutely,
right there.
absolutely. Let's go. Bring it, book it. I'll be down. He's
Hmm.
amazing.
Something to ponder for the
He's amazing.
future.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, All right. So I've been kind of switching it up with like a little like off topicy stuff. We're gonna do word association with you. I'm gonna give you a couple names. Could be AEW, WWE, New Japan, could be Indies, could be close to home, could be Rick. Who knows? But I'm gonna throw a couple things at you. First thing that comes to mind. Okay.
Okay.
Lucas Chase.
Ugly.
Wow. Wow. Okay. Desmond Cole.
Bald.
Okay. Kylon King.
Loud.
Loud.
But
That's a
he's
good.
funny.
That's
That's
a
my guy.
good one. That's a good one for Kylon. He is a loud little boy. Damian Priest.
Scary.
Matt Riddle.
Vibey.
Rick Del Santo.
Funny.
Oh, you got the
I'm
funny.
funny. I'm funny. All right.
You're one of those people who you see like you're so subtly funny. You know what I'm saying? Your
Yeah.
facial reactions and your like what you do kind of that like a lot of people don't catch. You're hilarious.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. You know, I noticed. I noticed everything. I got you.
Andy Brown.
Bestie.
Ooh. I want to give you a tough one. Chris Desmond.
Underrated.
Notorious Mimi.
Underrated. Can I use the same word or should I use a
You can
different
use it's whatever you
you
want.
want. Yeah.
Travis Jacobs.
rival? I've wrestled this man like 100,000 times. Here's my first match ever.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Leo Rush.
Innovative.
And I'll end with this. Mark Henry.
Inspiration.
Good answer. Good answer. Rick?
I think I'm good on this end. So I think we're gonna wrap it up here. And I want to thank Bobby. Thank you so much for doing this and coming on. It's about time, man, because I've known you for a couple of years now, and you're finally making your first appearance. And you know, when you do get to that TV level, don't forget who we are. All right.
Absolutely not. Dog, the pleasure is mine. Yeah, I can't believe it took so long to actually happen. I'm not gonna hold you.
You see Rick trying to hang on your coattails?
Wow, that's me. That's me, man.
Guy. This guy.
Hey, jump
You're gonna need a
it.
job. You're gonna need an assistant some way down the road. You know,
look, Rick. I'm gonna be Rick. I'm gonna be painfully honest with you here. Okay. All right. If he's gonna get an assistant, you're looking at the man right
here. You feel me? I mean, he did put this on me. I'm not gonna.
No, shh. Can't say that out loud. What are you doing,
brother? Kayfabe. I mean, come on. Wrestling is. Bobby, why don't you tell everybody that's watching? Of course, this is airing Sunday, so anything going forward after that, where you're going to be and where they can find you.
Yeah, the 7th, the All Hungry World Tour gets to make another debut at the Ridgefield Park Mecca. Historic building. I can't wait. I might be defending this against Goldie, another fellow Apple TV show star. Definitely check that out if you guys haven't. But 13th, I'm coming right back to Coliseum Pro Wrestling. 14th, I'll be around. There's a deadlock. I'll be a deadlock. Yeah. I can't wait. There's more. October is big, but I got to remember all that I have going on. Sometimes I don't write them down. This is why I need an assistant. So that job will be open.
I work cheap, just for the record.
Hey, we gotta have like assistant tryouts. How about that?
Brother?
Yeah.
You already know. I'll travel.
Yeah. Oh, look, that's important. That's important.
Oh, Rick's reaction sold it for me. I'm so
I don't like to get off. Well, one of the things is, and Harry probably knows this, I don't like to get off my couch once I'm there. So, you know.
I feel you, but sometimes we just gotta make it work. I don't know.
Listen, all hungry tour. We gotta go places, Rick. Come on, man.
Yeah,
I'm getting in my
yeah.
car.
Yeah, we
Bobby
gotta
tells
show the
me he's
world.
going somewhere. I'm getting in the car.
You know what I'm
All
saying?
right.
Yes.
So I'm glad I didn't actually. For some reason, I must have skipped. I don't know if I didn't know that you were working the 13th on for Coliseum. So I'm glad to see that.
Yeah, I'll be there.
All right.
All right. All right. All
All
right.
right.
Oh, wait. You do have one more show that you haven't mentioned. You'll be at United by One.
Absolutely. November 11th, get your tickets now. We already got Lucas Chase versus Fuego del Sol. That's crazy, right? Now,
There's two crazy shows happening. No, United by One, we already talked about it. I don't want to get too much because up next, Rick's got a show October 13th, Coliseum Pro, Nightmare on
Main Street. On Nightmare Main Street, October 13th.
There you go.
And we're going to be pushing this for the next couple of weeks up until then. And there's going to be a whole preview show coming up. So I'm real excited for this to happen. And obviously Coliseum is for the last year that they've been in existence has gotten a little bit of momentum coming, and it's each show is getting bigger, each show is getting better. The crowds are getting bigger. We're adding more chairs to the room, so that's exciting.
Got a crazy main event.
The way it's grown, I've been blessed to see how it's grown organically. Literally, I think I don't know if it was their first Coliseum, but on my birthday, I did a Coliseum Pro Wrestling show last year, in the same venue that I debuted at BST Mega Clash the next day.
Yeah, that's right.
Possibly
the 6-man tag.
Yeah, that was like the third show, I believe. That was the one show we did outside of West Haven in Bridgeport. I remember. Right. So I think BST ran the next night as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that show was the first time I did Coliseum, and I remember like the way the crowd was then to how it is now. Super huge jump, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's awesome to see. It's been awesome to be a part of it, and I wish nothing but success for everybody on that team. You know what I'm saying? Because they're all great guys, like you, Nick, Hakeem. You know what I'm saying? They're all great. So yeah.
Yeah, well, we're trying to make it something. Obviously there's TV now. Bobby Buffet was on last week's television episode against the match with Prince Ahmed. That was the television main event. So, look forward to this coming show is a television taping.
So. Wait. Pause. Let's just rewind real quick. Bobby said he wanted to be on TV, and you guys put him on TV. I think that was the quickest. I wish I could do something ever in the history of ever, because he literally spoke about it 20 something minutes ago, and you're already telling me he's already had it. Yeah. So it's crazy.
So you know what?
All Hungry World Tour, baby. Things are happening.
And that just means more goals, bigger goals. We're just gonna keep on crushing that.
I'm gonna keep on crushing it.
Hungry,
Bobby.
More.
This has been a pleasure.
What are your socials? Plug your stuff. Where are you at?
Oh, absolutely. You can follow me everywhere except for Instagram at Bobby Buffet MFBW. Somebody try to hack me. That's the only reason why I don't have it completely across the board. Instagram is real Bobby Buffet. Watch my show on Apple TV Plus.
Yes.
Check the podcast I did with Chris Jericho. You can check the podcast
That's something we didn't touch on.
We didn't touch on. I forgot about that.
You did a podcast with Jericho.
Not only that, I think right before that you did Busted Open as well.
Right after, yeah.
Thunder Rosa, he's a star.
LaGreca, let's do it.
He's a star.
Check all those out.
Here's what we'll do. We'll cork this, boop, right there, and we'll save it for the run back that we'll have. We'll plan it very, very soon. Bobby, I will see you in October. It won't be for Coliseum Pro. Rick, I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I love you. Oh, I know you're not giving me no stuff. But I am making my way out to Monster Factory in October. I will touch bases with you so we can connect there. Again, Bobby Buffet, thank you so much for being on the show this week. Absolutely. It is always an absolute pleasure to be in your radius you know,
same to you.
in some way, shape, or form. Rick, yeah, I'll see you next week.
I'm sure you're gonna at least hear from me.
Yeah,
I'm gonna harass you at least, but
Oh no, I know I'm gonna
Bright
get a
and
text
early.
message as soon as we get off the air.
one of the things is I wake up earlier than everybody and forget everybody's sleeping. So I, between
Dude.
you and Nick, hear from me before your guys are actually awake.
Bob,
So
this guy, Jesus Christ.
I don't think, I'm still drinking my coffee and I'm like, shit.
I'll be
everybody
waking
else is
up
still asleep.
sometimes and I'll be like, yo, it is such and such in the morning. Why are you texting me, my man? Like, yeesh.
I'm the
It
same
doesn't
way
register
I
sometimes,
feel
but so
It's all good. It's all love.
anyways, Bobby, thank you so much. And I look forward to doing this again.
Yes.
absolutely.
There
yeah,
will be
definitely.
no, there's no looking forward. There will be a part 2 very, very soon.
Let's go. Let's do it.
All right, Bob. I'm gonna call you in a little bit because I want to talk to you about something real quick. Rick, peace and love. I'll see you next week. Guys, PWZ fans, W.O.N fans, good night.
Here in the forest, dark and deep, I offer you eternal sleep. I'm behind you. I am right behind you. Don't be scared. I just want to play a game with you. I've been watching you. I know what you've been doing. You can't hide from me. I'm always here. Please stay. Stay with me. If you don't come play with me, then we will kill you. Knock knock. Who's there? You're a nightmare. Can you see me? Hello? Can you find me? Can you find me? I'm here. Behind you, look.